ACLU first became involved in the Talbot Boys controversy when the County Council violated the Maryland Open Meetings Act and its handling of the NAACP request that the statue be moved from its current location on the courthouse lawn to a more appropriate location dedicated to historic preservation. As other speakers have said, this request was not unique to Talbot County. Across America and Maryland, during the year since the Charleston, South Carolina massacre, there has arisen a groundswell of opposition to Confederate flags and monuments in places of honor on public grounds. But unlike every other community confronted with such an issue, when the request was openly debated and publicly voted upon, the Talbot County Council went behind closed doors and decided the matter in secret. And unlike every other Maryland community urged by its citizens to remove such a monument, Talbot County decided to retain its monument to the Confederacy. In Montgomery County and in Frederick and in Baltimore, officials discussed removal of Confederate monuments openly, and in the interest of unity and racial justice, made the decision to remove these monuments from places of honor on public property. Not so in Talbot County. Last month, the Maryland Open Meetings Compliance Board ruled that the county broke the law by deciding to retain the statue in private. But rather than take that legal guidance and the example of other Maryland communities to heart by reopening the process for true reconsideration and debate, the council, still trying to escape public notice, opted to fast-track it for a pro forma revote at a specially scheduled Tuesday afternoon meeting when many interested working people would be unable to attend. Not only has public opinion about Confederate emblems evolved considerably since the horrific events last summer in Charleston, but importantly, the law is evolving too. A year ago, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled for the first time that the state of Texas's endorsement of a Confederate flag on a specialized license plate constituted government speech, not individual speech, and can be regulated as such. In the aftermath of that ruling, the Hogan administration petitioned the federal court for permission to revoke Confederate license plates in Maryland. Permission was granted, and thus our state no longer produces license plates with a Confederate emblem offensive to so many Marylanders. Likewise, the Supreme Court has ruled, in a case from Utah, that monuments on public property constitute government speech. As a result of these Supreme Court rulings, constitutional challenges are now being brought to challenge prominent public displays of Confederate flags and monuments. For example, there has been litigation in Louisiana challenging as unconstitutional a criminal trial held in a county courthouse where the Confederate flag was flown, ultimately resulting in the government's decision to voluntarily remove the flag from that location. And this year in Mississippi, a prominent black lawyer filed a federal court lawsuit, which is still pending, seeking removal of the Confederate emblem from the Mississippi state flag, alleging a violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. This trend will continue, and the law will continue to evolve to keep pace with our diversifying country. How much longer can county officials continue to close their eyes to reality and pretend that this is just another veterans monument? With eyes wide open, we must confront our nation's history of racial injustice. We can't deny that the Talbot Boys and the Confederacy fought for the continued enslavement of African American people and in the process nearly destroyed our country. We know it may not be today that Talbot County finally acknowledges the harmful message of racial injustice symbolized by the Talbot Boys statue. But just as county officials were wrong to think they could get away with addressing this issue in secret, they are wrong to think the issue will go away if they just quietly reaffirm their decision to retain the Talbot Boys statue today. Talbot County is standing on the wrong side of history, clinging to its Jim Crow past, while the rest of Maryland and all of us committed to race equity are moving forward, working toward the day when it will no longer be either politically acceptable or legally permissible for the government to maintain a monument to slavery and white supremacy at the doorstep to the halls of justice.